We're at an estate sale. We are in Spokane, Washington, and I actually got a nice little tab here that's going to let me in the next wave. All right, let's look at this accordion and the player. That's cool. Love the eagles. It's missing a few ivories, though. Sewing box. The horse figure. The prices seem good so far, just looking at the first few items. Cute little salt and pepper Schaefer set. Bavarian. The look of Limoges, but Bavaria did it too. Okay, let's see who did this guy. Ah, Elizabeth Arden. Yeah, that was a name applied to this sort of porcelain in the 80s. 1910s. Monk playing violin. The Black Hall Aladdin teapot, I think that's actually navy. That's a pretty good price, $10 on the blue teapot. And then we have the Beliche Shamrock. This is gold marked, so it's later. They're asking $30 for that. On top of the piano, they've got Star Trek collection, including some of the 70s stuff. Star Trek was really not that popular when it was new. And then it came out in syndication in the 70s and was a big hit. And a whole lot of stuff started to be made. They have between $5 and $30 each on these pieces. And then they also have this guy. And I would have bought him for $60 because that's a good price. But he doesn't talk, he just squeaks. This is interesting. It almost looks like a rubbing. Lewis Knight by Wilson. I like this piece, $10. Interesting the way it's looking over the top. $5 on this. Well, these sell when I go to Florida shows, and I'm starting to think about shows again, so I think I'll take that. $120 on the typewriter. $30 on the native vase. Those actually came as a pair originally. Okay, this bronze is $5, and some of these earlier bronze pieces are pretty good. Let's see who made this. Is it bronze or is it a bronze patina? For $5, I'm not sure I have to care. Johnson Brothers. This looks like Friendly Village or something similar. Actually, it's Heritage Hall. Same color scheme and scenic in the same manner. Capo di Monte basket. Let's see how much the coat crate is. These are useful for displays at shows, and they sell. But they're looking for $35, and that's over my retail. They're asking $650 on silent auction for this set. This is mid-century modern, but it's walnut. American Furniture did a lot of these. And they're cool, but they're not quite the same as teat. Munoz. When it was sold out, they were asking $355. Here at the estate sale, they're asking $150, and I just sold a similar piece for about that price. Paperweight base in blue, only $3. The controlled bubbles are okay. People like these. I think that's an awfully good price. $180 on the lamp. That is a very mid-century lamp. And they have another one over in the corner there. They have the matching swag lamp too. These are very cute. These are McKee. I don't think they know that McKee jadeite glows in the dark. So we're going to take some of this. Maybe most of it in fact. At least one cup and saucer. Looks like there's 2 sets. And the plates. Yeah, I think we're going to take all of this. This set, I believe this is Fostoria's Royal pattern from the 1930s. A nice etch. Dresser mirror is $10. Hobnail from the Depression era, $8 for this set. Let's see what's in the kitchen. The owl bookends are kind of fun, but they just won't really hold much. Ah, there's a cute set. And they are asking $45. It's great that it's got the roosters. Color is mostly good. It's more than I can pay. Cute dollhouse furniture on top of the real table. Here's our Starburst. This is the gravy. Looks like it's in good shape, $35. Yeah, they are priced right, but they're priced retail. So if they're here tomorrow and I come back through, I will pick them up at half price. Contact paper, very 70s, $5. That might actually be fun as a backdrop. Yeah, I think we'll take that. It looks like a lot of 70s kitchens. Campfire marshmallows. This isn't as old as it looks. It's a replica, as it says right there. They did a lot of replicas around 1980. premium crackers for $2. That's not bad. That usually sells for 6 or 8. People use them as canisters. Bunch of strawberry. I think this is the Japanese. See, not glassware, ceramic. We just did a video where we talked about why ceramics are not glass, and you can check that out. Yes, Japanese 1982. There are collectors for this. We've sold it before at estate sales I've collected. High time for Hires root beer. Hires was such a big thing. It's one of the most famous brands of the past that's pretty much gone away now, but this is, I can tell by the weight, this is full in the original box. Do $2 will take that. Nice ceramic piece here, hand painted. German. Interesting. This is from about 1930. It's got one little chip, unfortunately. This is interesting. Done as a Native American, and on a piece of wood. I like it. It's hand done. It's not great painting, but it's interesting enough. Some studio pottery, mostly not professional stuff. I like the lion though. We've got the little wooden fishing folks. $25 for the poetry set is a fair price. Ceramic seagulls, that's cute, and only $3. Down here, some 1920s bookends for $20. A lot of times there are old lift chairs in houses, and they do sell for money because they're a necessary thing for a lot of people. Mid-century bed set, $6.50 are offered. I could use something with shelving. $35 each is a good price on the leather top tables, but I'm not sure it's the style I'm looking for. Old sewing basket is very 70s, $6. Cute little bag to take out or even to use as a linen press. $2 on the wool scarf is a good price. We're getting close to that kind of weather, although it's a nice day today. Nice little mid-century cedar chest. This one's by Lane. I've seen it before. Fun thing about coming to estates is sometimes you learn a lot about the people, and Ruth Wilson apparently was a nurse. And there is her cap. There she is. There's her commencement. One of the hospitals she worked at. Sacred Heart. They're asking $3.50 for this as a diorama. Little cherub prints or angel prints down here. It's a set of 3. Those are kind of cute. All right, which one has the price tag? $10 for the set. And let's see who these little sweeties are. Friday Angel and Thursday Angel. The rest of the week, maybe not so angelic. Cute little old sad iron for $2. Massengill, oh. Safe iron, yeah, that's cute for $2. All right, there is a chintz style cup and saucer in here. Kind of randomly, that's Japanese from the 50s. File away files, yes, my mother always had those. 100 on the Smith Corona. To the next room. This must be the bedroom that was being used as an office. There's a couple of Bessie Pease Gutman prints. $15 each is a pretty good price. Those might actually be worth getting because they had the original frames and the color seems good. This looks like a D. Lee of California Girl for $10. They're not always marked, but it's definitely their type of painting from the 1940s. This one's called A Little Bit of Heaven. Bessie Pease Gutman was successful in her time, so she actually had big showings and sold in department stores, and that's why you see a lot of them, because she was very popular in the 1920s and 30s. But I think the frames are just a little too worn. Beveled sheet mirror. It's just a plain thing from about 1950, but you know, how much does a mirror cost now? That's actually a very good deal. That's why a lot of people are coming to estate sales, even if they're just looking for stuff for the house. Big old rook here. It is ceramic. Let's see if we can see a name on it. Yeah, that's another handmade one. She seemed to patronize a lot of home ceramicists in the area. Italian leather covers. And the classic 1970s chairs. They definitely kept this place well. Look at this. This is the original tag on this piece of furniture that sat here since it was new. which was about 65 years ago. Let's see if there's anything interesting in the clothing. That looks pretty ordinary. A lot of little blue and white figures. It's only $3 on the little Fenton piece in the middle there. People are definitely finding some stuff. There's my little pile. Someone's buying this little step here. The beige foam is only $10. You can buy centers to cover that up that say Bell phone or something like that. The classic mushroom stool, $25 would be a great price, but it's just a little too worn on the bottom. Little cocktail pitcher from the 1960s. Mold for $10. Kramer. Let's see who did this one. They're asking $20. It's a no name, but it's definitely American and older. Oh, they had a pool. And a charbroiler, $50. It is such a good deal to get these at estate sales. They usually haven't been used a ton, and the prices are so much better. Now, the Virgin Mary for $45 is a nice big concrete piece, and that's actually worth getting. I don't know if I have the energy. Well, I am grateful and thankful to get to go to estate sales again, and if you're enjoying this like I am, well, please click thumbs up to let YouTube know. Subscribe so that you can click the bell to be notified of future videos, and we'll have fun all over the place. And if you can help the channel with the membership, there are perks, and you can check out the different membership levels, either on the channel or through Patreon. Look at the links under the dash line in the description of this video for more information. All right, let's go downstairs. Let's go into the rec room first, because this looks like fun. Modern copper. Washstand bowl and pitcher full of artist brushes. Artist brushes are a good thing to get at estate sales because these things are expensive in stores. And a lot of times they don't price these for a whole lot in estate sales. Cute little Japanese cow for $10. Ballet. A print. Let's see what's in this folio. How to draw and paint textures of animals. This is a good series, actually, you see from the 40s and 50s. Little leprechaun here. We don't see a whole lot of St. Patrick's related stuff, so I do look. This is Japanese from about 1980. Okay, I do like sunglasses, and these are lucky, right? Well, they're not four-leaf clovers, but they're lucky enough. They're obscuring my view of the Osmonds. Cat Stevens, Beach Boys. Definitely the right era of albums. The condition seems a little worn. And then the parents had these. Edie Gourmet's Delight. The Doctor Will Be Right Out. That looks like a comic book. A humor book about medicine and other things. From the 1960s. Fun. They're not in good shape, unfortunately. Handmade ceramics. Table has a nice deco look to it. I wonder how much that is. The nice thing is it also has a lift top tray. Needs a little bit of refinishing. I'm imagining they might sell this for $35. In fact, that might be the tag. Nope, that's a pad. A lot of the smaller tables seem to be priced that. And I'd be tempted at that price.
What's your first name?
I'm George.
I'm Brenda.
Thank you, Brenda. Well, Brenda just priced this at $20 and I'm taking it. This is a magazine stand from about 1920 and it's $25. That's actually a pretty good price because it's also an end table. It's got a little bit of design. I mean, I don't have a lot of room for furniture and the round one matches my style at Lander Street Vintage a little more, so I'm going to take that one, but that's a great deal on that too. Flag, let's see how many stars. It's cotton, so it's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 6 and 4 rows. Okay, so this is a 50 star. But it is cotton. And if it's American made, which a lot of them are not anymore, then we will want it. Yeah, I think regardless, for $5, we're going to take this. A lot of people walk by the first piece in a room, so I always try to stay and get in everyone's way while I look through and just make sure nothing is overlooked in the first piece in a room. Cute place, but nothing we need. Books on chess, National Geographic. I could really use the shelf unit. It's only $15 and it is solid wood. I mean, there's nothing to it. But, I have a lot of merchandise right now. I might see if I can get that in the car. And then $10 on this little one that could fit on top of another piece of furniture. A very 50s painted high chair. Great color. I'm not sure who T was, but there was their ottoman. And the koi is kind of a neat painting on this little table. Let's see if we're missing anything in the art and wall hanging department. 15 on the Mickey clock. That's a Welby. I just got the one that looks like a big watch. And they sell for a little more than this, but it's not in good shape. Raffaello. Down here, looks like mostly artist prints. And maybe some stuff done by people here in the house. Or somebody that they knew. The prices are right, but they just don't grab me. Lots of prints here. We're always hoping that there's something like an Elton Bennett or something stuck away in a pile like this. The horse is kind of likable, but I'm pretty heavy on Western stuff right now. I just did a big display at Lander, and I have a big display I just did at Tower Avenue Antiques in Centralia, so I'm pretty set for Western. A Godey style print from the 50s. And there's another one in an older frame. Those used to sell really well. They've been a little slow for me the last couple of years. This mirror is in great shape. It looks like it's been antiqued, unfortunately, which covered up the original finish, which would have been nicer. Pantry items are something I do pay attention to at estate sales, because if they're not expired, you might get them for $1. And we all know groceries have gotten expensive. But you don't want to buy anything really stale either. Best if used by August of 2024. Yeah, maybe not. This is fun. This might be by the Quarry Company. Let's see if it says aluminum out of the 50s. It's a little scratched, unfortunately. Oh, this one is actually wherever. It did hold up pretty well, but people these days are wary about cooking on aluminum. Up into the garage we go. This house has a lot of levels. Big old Jen Air. $20 for that huge fan. That has a great look, but it's a little too small on top and a little too rounded to make into a table, so I'm not sure what you would do with it. And this little piece of furniture here, that's $20. It's shelving. It's a little too country for what I'm looking for right now. Lots of copper and copper-stained aluminum molds. Crates. Of course, I love hauling things in crates, and I love using them as displays at shows. They're only asking $6 each for these. It might be worth getting just for my own use. They're stapled, so they'll only last so long. All right. Let's see what this looks like inside. $75. Interesting style of steamer trunk. It's nice that it opens sideways and has drawers. Oh, now this is one Western thing I would buy if it was in any sort of condition. Pendleton Roundup, and this is from the 1920s. Wallace Smith did this. $30. Even if it's a 70s era reproduction, that would be a good price, but it's too damaged. Somebody had fun using horseshoes to make this file into a hanging piece. And then we have the fabulous plastic sled. I think we've all almost killed ourselves on those if you lived somewhere with snow as a kid. They are fun. Some tools. I like this crate. It's a little damaged though. Another cigar box or two. Somebody liked El Primo's. Oh, we've got some bicycles. Let's take a step back and look at these. $125 on the men's in front. In Harvest Gold, a Ross bicycle, and then this one is a Sears woman's bike behind, both from the 70s. $85 on this waterfall chest of drawers. They're really a good deal. I'm surprised how cheaply they're selling these days. This is cute because the chairs have this nice painted detail. This is $65 for the set. This would be a great thing for someone starting out. You could refinish the top. You could easily recover the chairs. And you'd have a nice solid piece of furniture. And even though I'm not usually wild about painting things, you could paint the top to match the green in the chairs. And that would make them pop really well. And since the top is already pretty damaged, that wouldn't be the biggest sin. Sewing machines, I'm sure they work great. They're hard to sell because they all work great, and a lot of houses have 4 or 5 or 6, like this house does. But I do like this painted piece of furniture underneath this one. I think this was made as a sewing cabinet. And it's really attractive and well done and has a lot of levels. I could see it being useful for other things. Maybe you put your laptop on this little surface and you have a surface behind it to work. Only $30. It's tempting. I just don't really have room for it anywhere.
This is stunning.
Yeah.
Have to find room for it, sorry.
I know. I really wish I could. It's a great piece. I like the chair too. Quarter horse journal. I want a dollar horse. These are definitely very 50s. Ah, yes. 8 1957 fillies for sale. And 10 stallions. Ah, a melody mender. Cloth binding tape for music rolls and books. That's actually a neat little device, and I'll bet that it's not much money. I'm going to take that too. I get the feeling somebody in the house might have been an art student. Just so hard to display though. Ah, I see. They were making a lot of these prints. That makes all the sense in the world. And here is the press. Okay. And there are some really cool pieces. Ah, I see. So Wilson actually must have been one of the children who did this. How interesting. See, you get to learn about a family when you're in their house for a while. Yeah, some of this is really cool. I especially like this because this is the piece that they would press the plates from. And this appears to be, is this linoleum? Yeah, so this is a lino type. I think I'm going to get this if they'll let me buy just this piece. I wanted to learn how to use the press. Well, it's $500, which I'm sure is actually a fair price for one of these. We've got one more room to go, and we're going to watch our step. This house is surprisingly big once you get into it. More artwork. A wonderfully sized little trunk for only $35. That's a great size, and you could use it as a side table. That is tempting. Again, I just don't have a lot of room for furniture, but I've seen 3 or 4 pieces in this house I like. $10 for the plastic shelf. But, you know, I could get a wood one for $15. Religious corner here. Nothing I see is particularly old, though. This piece, on the other hand, has some age. And let's take a look and see if we can find anything about it. Labor Amoris. Interesting. Not a brand that I've heard of before, but I would say 19 teens or 20s from the style. One more room, they're calling this the Christmas room. And I can see why. They are set it for the holidays. This must have been fun to do. Golf clubs. Not new enough to be super valuable, not old enough to be super valuable. Kind of typical ornaments. This looks like an old chest that we're circling here, 1920s or so. We've got some nice old ice skates in good condition for $10 a pair. $15 on the old jug. And hello again. I like this little ice bucket. This is a tartan, and our price on it, I think, is $8. I could see somebody enjoying this. Crash pieces. They're asking $10. Boy, I hate to buy the whole thing, but I'm missing one for my crash, which means I buy this and then I'll have a set that's missing the same piece. So I guess that doesn't really do a lot of good. This old radio from the 1930 era, Western. is a really neat cabinet, but it looks like it is not in really neat condition. Old picnic basket, old rocker, ping pong. Lots of fun. Very popular in the 60s. I mean, still a fun game now, but you have to have a lot of room for the table. Old piece of luggage here from the 50s in the corner. These boxes look like more encyclopedias. Will Rogers, Clams and Tartans. My family descends from the Armstrongs on one side. This is what they would have called them, ladies' rocker back then. A platform rocker. I had not seen one upholstered in this manner. The upholstery is actually really cute, and the way it's matched is good. I don't think the brown arms really match the piece, though. And there go the strawberry dishes. I figured they'd sell.
Well, the crowd at that estate sale said there was one more big sale up the road in this town. This is Chatteroy, an interesting name. It was originally called Kidd. It was a stop on the Great Northern Railway, and the Great Northern said, "We've already got a stop named Kidd in Montana. Could you please rename the town?" Mrs. Cowgill, the wife of the superintendent, was reading a novel with a hero called Chatteroy, and she thought that was a wonderful name, but nobody could pronounce it, so Chatteroy it is. We are going to Cowgill Road, where the estate sale is held.
The first sale only advertised on Craigslist, and this one only advertised on estatesales.net. This one says there's antiques and vintage, but mainly they showed tools and farm equipment and stuff that's probably in that building there. That's what a lot of people came for right there. But we're headed over here. Very immaculate barbecue. Let's see what this piece of stoneware is. Don't recognize that signature. I see a piece of candle wick over here. One of the stems, and this one's etched. They did do some etched work, or had companies do it for them. I like this one with the Canada Goose on it. If we can find more of those, I might take those just because they're an interesting variation on a theme. Here's an old dish under here. Paden City pottery. Here was also Paden City glass. That was a very productive little town in West Virginia for a long time. Useful household stuff here. Nothing I need right now. 100 on the big Hobart KitchenAid. You don't see the Hobart name on them anymore. Okay, Pyrex bold cess. This is the Americana pattern. They want 50 for the 4 pieces. Not a bad price. These pieces are a little too worn. Oh, the handle's been broken off that. That's too bad. That's a cute little poppy trail piece by Metlocks from the 30s. Nice grinder, but $100. I mean, that's the maximum that would sell for. Here's some fun Irish coffees in various stoneware. I like the colors. $4 each is a good price. But they're not really by anybody that we can tell. Very northwesty looking from the 80s, I would say. Some Japanese Listerware children's dishes. Cute little snack set with the place for the cup. That's a whole tea set. And then this little tea set with the dogwoods. Oh, little chip on that ear. Utterly divine. This is a Henkel Harris piece. They did nice Hepplewhite style and Sheraton style furniture with the figuring, but it's newer than it looks. This is probably 1970s or so, and the tell is the brass. It's priced at $300. This is a nice old pot. Copper with the nickel plating from about 1900. Fostoria American vase. Nice pieces in here. There's India Tree, the gravy boat. Now that's only $14. That's actually a pretty reasonable price for what it is. Let's see which company made this one. It's a little less definite. It's a fast stand because the stand was attached. Yes, many companies made this with varying degrees of attention to detail. Old Royal bone china. And yes, they really did use bone in it back in the old days. There's a cute little piece. Not marked. This is from about 1910. That one's probably German, looking at the style. And this is a sweet little Demitasse cup by Rosenthal. Rosenthal is good quality. I don't see a price on that one. Of all of them, that would be the one to get because of the maker, the interesting bird, and there are people who specifically collect Demitas and people like gold blind. Scrapbook here, Art Deco design. Congratulations, Lois. Order of dancing. You will dance in this order. That was so you could remember who you danced with and pick your favorite a little bit later. Washington's Home from an Airplane, Mount Vernon. Very interesting place to see. I've been. 1939 Joseph Creek Centennial. Lewiston Roundup. Not as famous as the Pendleton Roundup, but definitely a rodeo of interest. Personal data from the Business College in Portland. A cute scrapbook. It'd be fun to keep filling. Rogers Brothers International Silver Remembrances, a nice pattern. Remembrances, this flower here. And 100 isn't a terrible price for that set. And then Yadro figures. But again, $120. $100, it's more than I get for these. So they are going to stay. Only 14 on the big turkey platter, though. It's interesting what they priced up and what they didn't. Noritake set for $160. It's very nice, but I find the Noritake with the flowers not the easiest sell. This one's a little more interesting because it's more heavily decorated, making paella, $140. This is Heisey in the Ridgely pattern, and I always like the triangular shape. This one does have the diamond H in the bottom. Sometimes that would get plugged up in the mold, so don't let anyone tell you, as I've been told before, oh, it's not Heisey if it doesn't have the H, because they don't all. That is an interesting enough design to be worth buying. I dealt in this sort of glass for many years, and I've never actually seen the piece with the 3 handles. The turn dish next to it is the same price. This is Heisey's Crystallite, and again, here's an example. That one has the diamond H in the bottom, but many times they don't. Heisey went out of business in 1957. They were one of the first that we lost. And they also have the star-shaped relish for $12. I always thought that was an interesting piece. I don't buy a lot of clear, elegant glass these days, but I just sold the salt dishes, and I know there's a collector in this pattern, so I think I will take them. And then this is Duncan Teardrop, the little divided relish. Let's see what this oak dresser is about. It's got a nice oval mirror. It's from about 1910, and hey, everybody, it is sold. Ooh, let's see if we can see what the price was. This is good information. It's got nice tiger oak rays. Oak is popular in this area. They took the price tag off. Well, I don't blame them. It's not really any of our business. It's just fun to know. They've got $120 on the little end table, and then there's this Eastlake American narrow dresser. Got nice drop pulls from about 1880, and they are asking $220 for that. Well, that makes me think the oak piece probably was somewhere in the $150 range. Table full of gold rim glass. There's more of the candlewick with these birds. I am tempted by that just because I think it's interesting. This is Fostorio's mulberry etch, I believe, from the 20s and 30s. Vintage emerald green cream and sugar with the silver electroplate is $30. Let's see how much this old cherry blossom place is. This one will glow because it is Depression era green, and it's $24. Nice pattern. That's pretty much full price to me. Over on this table, $6 on that bowl. It's kind of a generic. This one's Vernon Kilns. That's actually not a bad price. $8 on the big mixing bowl by them. More Paden City pieces. $35 on the Spokane Mayflower dinner plate. Not a bargain. This is a cute little Roseville piece. There's the Roseville mark back when it was an ink stamp before they were embossed. That's part of the juvenile line. I don't see a price on that. It's got some crazing inside. We'll see what they ask. Cordon bleu. I do see some people buying that because it's good to cook with. This is a nice studio piece with the mountain ranges, something we see out west here. 1980s, no particular maker known. They did their homework on this sale. Fresh from the Altar by Jessica Haler. That is a print of a piece done many decades before. Baby carriage print. These are cute, but really what I like about this one is the pie crust frame more than the piece that's in it. Let's see how they have that price. The frames are worth something by themselves. Yeah, they have $80 on it though. See, Zine is a watercolorist. I don't know. I like the colors. It's called Visionary Evening, and they are asking $230. It looks like something that would have been done in the 1980s or 90s based on the color scheme. I like this little triangular table. They're asking $150. Nice turn of the last century oak mirror with the beveling. $150 on that. Nice in an entry. And then they have a small pew from about the same time in history. That's a nice size. You could use this on a porch. And this one is priced at $425, which again to me is retail. Then there's this. This is a very pretty Art Nouveau piece of furniture. I believe this is French. It is an oak stand with the big full-length mirrors and then your dressing table in front. Really an attractive piece. Let me step back from it so you get the whole effect. That is a really nice piece to have in a corner like this. And let's see what the price is. They are asking $500. Honestly, for what it is, it's such a different thing that we don't really see very often that I don't think that's an unfair price. If you wanted it for your home, it would be worth every penny. Look, everybody's favorite. Blue ribbon geese.
In the kitchen when I was growing.
That's right. They were in everybody's kitchen back in the 80s. I'm telling you, there's going to be nostalgia for these. There is the old Handy Hannah hairdryer for your big bouffant, because you had to stick it in that thing. Those are just really fun looking. I just got one that is shaped like an elephant. I can't wait to put it out and see what people think. All right, clothing. A lot of colors that look like they're starting to be 30 years old, including colors by Alexander Julian. I have to admit, I really like that shirt. It is a large. I don't wear a large, unfortunately. I could see myself wearing that. The rest of the clothing looks wearable, decent, nothing special. Aw, big bunny shoes. And Birkenstocks, which are very expensive new, so if you can find them not worn to death, it's something to pick up. All right, downstairs we go. This is a neat piece. This is Vienna bronze. And there are definitely collectors for this. It's very mid-century modern. This one has the mark. They're asking $130 for the rowing bunnies. It's interesting. They had a paddleboard before we even knew such things existed. This is a nice trestle table here. Nice hall table, 1920s. I like the painting. This is going to be priced at $250. And then there is a nice, handsome, big English wardrobe with walnut burl and a lot of carving. This is going to date to about 1900. The full-length mirrors are very nice. This is priced at $600. The handles are good. I mean, honestly, it is worth the price. The rocker, we can tell, is old because it sits very low. That is a solid splat, meaning no open work on the back, in a baluster form. The wood is nice quality, but they're a tough sell because they sit so low now. $120 for that particular one. Another English wardrobe, a little smaller size. All sorts of beading. And this one is in oak. This one they want $400 for, and I have to say, I think you can get that deal anywhere. American oak here. Notice the difference in style. This one is sold. So someone came through for the American oak at this sale. Nice little child-size rocker from about 1900 there. Let's see what they have on this. $80. And this is an old kerosene lamp with the base in a different color and a transfer of flowers. It's priced at $30. That's not a bad price. I actually saw something very similar to that sell at Lander Street Vintage, of all places. I would not have expected a customer there for something as antique looking as that, but it walked out the door right in front of me. Sets of end tables that match are definitely desirable. They're small. A lot of people need them. They can put them around sofas as well, although usually it's for a bed. And they are asking $500 for the pair. Again, to me, that's a retail price, but they are nice, and they are from about 1890. Looks like whatever bed was here is gone. These prints, George Washington. There are some early George Washington prints that are big money, if you know the correct artist, but I don't believe those are them. And then this lovely lady on the horse, they're asking $50 a piece on these. Handmade, hand dovetailed, big old blanket chest from around 1900. Frame maps used to sell for a lot of money if they're old, and this is Gloucestershire in England. Perhaps that's where the family that lived here were from. A new map of Gloucester, new in probably around 1800, and they're asking $40, which is actually not a bad price. And here we have the Century Atlas of Italy from about 1890, and it's framed and it's $50. Not bad price on that either, actually. In some places you could sell that for double. This is a big house, even though it's not heavily appointed with things. There are lots of rooms. This is a Mission Revival piece from the 1990s, priced at $450, but they were a lot more than that new. This is fun. Somebody made this by hand, and how cute is it? 1930s or 40s, all wood. Somebody put a lot of effort into that. They're asking $150. You know, it's unique. So how do you price something like that? Just based on what you think makes it interesting. Nice looking oak clock. Typically when I see this style, they are German with that face. And this one is priced at $100. That's really not a bad price for these. I have sold them for maybe $175 in recent times. This oak rocker has some interesting impressions here. This is all press card, but I like the way that they darken that. And it would have been a parlor piece because it's a little fancier with the textured and tacked leather seat. This is priced at only $100. Rockers just don't go for a lot, but they're nice, and if you can find one that fits you, they're great for the back. Nostalgia pieces here. This is a real roll-top desk here, made of oak, and the office chair that is a little different era. You can tell the finishes are different, but they work fine together. The office chair is probably 1920s or 30s, a desk from about 1900, and this desk is priced at $400. Oh yes, they also have one of these. Usually I see them in black, but that was an orange one, the pencil sharpener that you turn. It's pretty smudgy, but those do sell well. There are collectors for Audell's guides because they are very useful for carpenters and builders, and a lot of the techniques are still the same, even though the tools you might use would be different. They're asking $16 for the set of 4. That's actually a pretty good deal in that condition. Nice antique brass lamp with the milk glass shade and the marble base. That should date to about the 1920s. Priced at $50. And this derpy deck, I've just got to look at this. $6. Stoneware. Somebody would like that. Look at that face. This is a pretty handy file cabinet that we see occasionally in estates because it's got the drawer and this and a safe inside. If you have the combination, and that is $60. Old oak wall phone. They are asking $300. It looks like it has all its pieces, but I sold mine for $195, and that's what they're worth these days. They used to sell for $300, but those days, well, they've been a while. $150 on the other hand for this antique piece, and that seems more in line with where I would expect it to be. Ah, Robert Taylor. I like the frame. These Art Deco frames used to be really good sellers, and I just don't see them very often. I don't see a price on this one. Well, we'll hope that the unpriced things are the better deals and see what they want. All right, we are in the Christmas room. Let's see if this guy is an American-made one. There were American companies making these, and then they got very popular, and they started making them in China. But this one is German. Peace to the World. It's a Yadro bell. They're asking $4 for that, 2007. The Yadro bells are nice, but they're kind of like the Christmas plates by Van Grondel. There's just a lot more of them than there are people to buy. Snoopy for Christmas. 2001, $4. That's kind of cute. And then the State Bank from about 1890, 1900. Now, they only want 12 for that. And this is a fairly common one, but it still sells for about $35, and it's easy to figure out the combination, so we'll take that. Nice large old ice box. Quarter sawn oak from about 1900. They are asking $1,000. Made in Dublin, Ohio. This is interesting because it's paper collage art. Art teacher Martha Carter. Little Bala champagne bottles are fun as miniatures. Donald Easter duck. Okay, I don't get it. Little table here is a basic table of its type from about 1900. But again, they're asking $200. I mean, I can't get $100 for them. Pantry land again. Capers, applesauce. You can save a lot of money shopping at estate sales for this kind of stuff. You just have to check your expiration dates. Do capers expire? I'm not sure that they do. 1920 Encyclopedia of Engineering. That's $40 for the set. Correspondence courses back in the day. Not a bad set. There's probably a lot of information that's still useful in there. Sausage stuffer. Next to the classic Osterizer blender. Used to sell from time to time. The Galaxy was a good one. They almost all still work, even though they're 50 years old or more. And they have the classic Oster electric fondue pot. They're asking $20, but that's what I have on mine, and I haven't been able to get it. Old red ricer for ricing potatoes. Let's see who did this honey jar here. Oh, it's missing its finial. The old wearing juicer, the old crock watcher. The bronzes are newer, but there are some good bronzes that are newer. This one is a recent version of a Charles M. Russell. Frederick Remington. Jim Conter is somebody who's more recent vintage. This one's by Langford Franklin, but the prices, again, they're all what I would sell them for. Same with the VW Beetle musical decanter car. This one does sell. This is a nice kitchen queen. They replaced the plain glass windows with something with color and a pattern. This is an actual Hoosier because it says Hoosier. Hoosier was a brand name. A lot of them were made in Indiana, but not all of them are Hoosiers. And $400 for that is actually a fair price. And they're asking $700,000 for this house. Well, I did find one bracelet, a Sarah Coventry, that I think has a good look that I'm going to put aside. Now we're going to look at equipment. But we'll see if there's any vintage stuff in the middle of all this. The wheelbarrow is vintage. That would be fun to plant a bunch of flowers in. Needs repainting, but that's a cute little wicker child's chair from probably the 1920s or 30s in that shape. 50s era office chair. $60 on the tool cabinet is actually a good price. It's a Craftsman. It's got all the drawers and a door at the bottom for more storage. And you know, if you like the industrial look, you can actually use these in a house to have collections of paper ephemera, jewelry, shells, anything you can imagine. They're not just for tools, although obviously they're useful for that too. Sold a few air compressors in houses. This one's nicer and newer than most that I see for sale. Big floor jack. I like the crate here. Brooks Optronics. $20 is not a bad price. Chemicals are a hard thing to get rid of because you have to take them to hazardous material places. Sometimes there's a charge, but if you're looking for a good deal on things like Minwax that cost $5 new, well, you know, you're going to get a better deal at an estate sale for sure. Okay, I like the orange set of drawers as well. Old tool chest for $8. That's actually a good price. The stool has kind of an interesting look. Good old wood lathe. It's got the original instruction manual, $400. Estate sales are really a good place to get this sort of thing if you are a woodworker, if you are mechanical in any way. And this shop looks like it was set up pretty well. Some of this stuff is priced pretty well. Not the only one who thinks so, because this bandsaw is sold. I see lots of tools that are useful, but the age of the house is not old enough for their to likely be too many old things. The planes, well, they are up there. Lots of hand tools, Dremel tools. Yes, they've been used some, but compare this to buying new. In an organized shop like this, you can figure the person probably took pretty good care of this stuff.
Dresser or something they kept put in here.
They were very nice, very helpful, very efficient, and here is their card. So I'll be looking for more of their sales when I'm at Spokane.
Well, it would be fun to write off on that ATV behind me, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go buy my stuff. I have really had fun going to a couple of estate sales. It's wonderful to get out again, and I'm looking forward to taking you more places like this in the future, so stay tuned and we'll have more fun.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.